How you doing, guys? Welcome to Monsters and Mazes. I'm your host, Mr. No One. Okay, I have a, small confession to make. When I initially started to film this over a week ago now, I found that as much as I really, truly, absolutely wanted it to happen, unfortunately, the time constraint that I actually applied to myself was just that, constraining. Trying to put in an entire encounter in a room in about 5 minutes turned out to be impossible, actually. I figured it out roughly. I was filming the first episode. It was, which is what this is replacing. I started filming it, and within 20 minutes, I figured out, hey, I'm not gonna be able to condense this down to 5 minutes because the characters were still in the room. They were still doing things, and unfortunately, it just didn't quite work out well. So I kind of decided that I was going to go ahead and not do that. I was going to continue to create the dungeon, at least the level that we're at right now, and the week's worth, right? And I did that. And as you can see, week 2 was complete. You can follow me on Instagram, Twitter, Reddit. I post the daily drawings and the information for the room. So I've got, last week is finished, and I'm working on week 3. This is Tuesday. This is what would be day 16? No. Yes, day 16. So this is Monday, not Tuesday. Anyway, so day 16 of 365 days. And I'm not really worried about it. The characters are still going to be going through week 2, the summation of that. Now, how far they get, well, I don't really know. I'm going to be putting these in again about 30-minute chunks. That way, y'all can. It's easily digestible. And if it means that it ends up that the characters take, 7 weeks to, in our time, to complete this particular area of the dungeon, then so be it. I've decided that I'm not going to hinder them in that way. What I'm going to do for the characters is I'll make the random determination whenever the crossroads. The rooms have multiple exits. They'll choose those exits accordingly. They're utilizing percentage. That also means that I'll be relying more upon the decisions that the characters technically make, randomly determined by the dice rolls, than actually just trying to go room by room by room and then only sketch that out and then film that out. It's not fair for you guys, and of course, I'm trying to keep up with the Dungeon23 challenge by creating a room a day, and that doesn't exactly work with the pace that the characters are going to follow. So the first week that I filmed, where I did it every single day, is more accurate than trying to, the 30-minute format that it took me to do a room, any kind of passages and whatnot. That was more accurate. So that's pretty much what we're going to be doing. You can, of course, check out any of the progress that I make in the aforementioned social media platforms. I'll see if I can't put at least a scroll bar on what those are as we're going, because I can't currently put any links in the description. My channel has to be at least 2 months old in order to do that. Go figure. All right. Without further ado, the characters had, the party had ended up coming from room 1F, which was the one with the fire beetles and the braziers, right? They ended up going through the door and they walked down the hallway. We'll say this is the hallway right here. They come across the door. The door itself is fairly large, and it's a double set of iron doors. Okay. The interesting part about the iron doors is that they're kind of like, there's carved kind of effigies. There's like faces, you know, or heads or something. But they're slowly morphing, right? They begin to change the continent, how they look, right? It takes, according to this, it takes, I want to say, it says possibly once an hour, but I'll check it anyway. Oh, it just says slowly. So it may take some time. The fighter, now here's where we can actually talk about, I have time now to actually talk about the characters. The fighter, his name is Giles Wake. He's, typical, he's in plate mail, he's got, a two-handed sword, and he actually hates orcs. Why? I haven't exactly fleshed that out yet. Our cleric in the party, his name is Edmund Bourne. Edmund Bourne is a very unique individual. He is covered in very unusual scars. There actually is a little bit of reasoning behind that, and because, well, Edmund is insane. He was cursed with insanity by a hag. He does seek. He will eventually. He wants to seek to no longer be insane, and he does suffer penalties for his insanity. His saving throws are reduced by 2. His attack rolls are reduced by 2. And of course, his actual ability scores are also reduced by 2. But his insanity is not a continuous ongoing thing. There will be certain things that kind of awaken his insanity. He'll have moments of lucidity and things like that, particularly when he's out of combat and for a longer period of times. Of course, he has a warhammer, some scaled mail. He's got his holy symbol. And his insanity is kind of described as an expectation of doom. Apparently, this is actually a family curse, if I remember correctly, that was passed down. So because hags are kind of long-lived creatures that apparently can do curses. And enter. All right. Our elven companion is Celadon. Celadon is, and he's tall. He's looking for actually an axe known as Ghoul's Bane. Apparently, it's some ancestral weapon. Again, that has, I believe, a +2 or something like that towards ghouls and whatnot. So interesting. And of course, Adwith is our thief. Adwith is basically he's wrongly sought by the paladins of the Cloister of the Silver Sky for murder. He's one a murderer, go figure. Obviously, he didn't do it. Obviously. Yeah, no, he didn't do it. Okay. And that's them in a nutshell. How the party came to be, you know what, I haven't quite determined that. All as I know is that they are currently exploring this particular dungeon for reasons of money and excitement. Why not? Maybe Ghoul's Bane will be in here, who knows? Actually, they have no idea. Remember, this is just a discovered area, right? It had been apparently part of the community for centuries, and nobody ever knew that it was anything more than just a pile of ruins of a possible wizard of, back in the day. All right. Anyway, so we have these iron doors, and Giles, he's about to open it. And of course, I forgot his name already. Tells you how invested I am in these guys, right? I expect them. Adwith goes, "What are you doing, man?" Gotta open the door. Yeah, at least let me check it. All right. So what he is going to actually do is checking. Now, of course, he's going to be checking for traps. He has, of course, that 10% possibility. Now, I know a secret that they don't. It's just stuck. It's not locked. They don't know that. No. As far as he knows, it is not trapped at all. It doesn't appear to be locked or anything like that. That is a remarkable roll in and of itself, and I'm fine with that. Anyway, so Giles, he's all right. So he's going to do a strength check. Of course, that's a 1d6. He's going to this is the party. He is going to. He needs a 5 and 6. So outside of, if he rolls less than he has to roll a 6 in order to fail. But here we are. I failed. So he gives it. Now, they don't know that there is a group of mycelians. Mycelians are mushroom people. They're a little bit like this. They are currently in the room right now. All right. So there is going to be a little bit of surprise. There's some lots of banging and grinding. So what these guys are going to do is I'm going to give a reaction roll just because they are here. Okay, so they're not actually worried. They're going to be. I rolled just an 11 straight up, and for 11 straight up is indifferent, uninterested. Obviously, they're going to be a little more interested. But if I even added the closest modifier I could probably do is going to be these guys. So I'm going to say that these two begin to open the door. They're going to have a little bit more of a guard posted here, and we're going to allow. Now he can do these checks as many times as possible, just basically pushing in. It does take time, okay? So some time has passed and we will open it up. Yes, we do. The doors open up, the light shines in, and then these guys see these guys. And now we're gonna do, again, another roll. We might have some hostilities, I'm not entirely sure. Now the first people they see are these two guys, and 9, and I do believe that they have just a regular, they don't have anything as far as their extra charisma modifiers. Nobody has had an opportunity to talk, no, and if I'm going correctly, Giles doesn't have, oh no, Giles has a +1. Okay, so we have, right now we are currently sitting at 10, so 10 gives me, again, indifferent, uninterested, which means they're not hostile. They see them. One of the first things that we're going to do is, since it's a bit of a surprise, we are going to roll initiative and see how our characters react to basically mushroom monster men. Well, all right, initiative. Technically, our party has the opportunity to react. They're not immediately hostile. Right, our guys are still more or less good guys, but they, a torch gets dropped, a sword gets prepped. These guys, arrows are knocked, like ah, and of course the mushroom, the mycelians, they don't have mouths, but they do speak telepathically. All right, so our characters, they've whipped out their swords. We are going to say, are the mycelians going to ask for help? Because right now, one of their members is stuck in these cobwebs. Now, when they open up the door, the light, shadow, they have the mushroom monsters, mushroom men, whatever, greeting them at the door, more or less. But inside the room, this is a very large chamber. Within the chamber, it has areas that are, I guess, a good portion of it, at least half of the room is actually covered in these floor-to-ceiling webs, really thick, ropey, sticky mats. It's just as if a giant spider, foreshadowing, created these. Right, so huge, and of course, it requires for webs and whatnot. You usually use the web spell for any kind of like what happens, what kind of strength, things like that that's required to get out of it. Anyway. These guys need help. They have no tools, no way to get to help. They have nothing. They have basically all they're carrying are these little sacks, kind of cloth sacks, fibers, at least some kind of fiber sacks. There's no way to tell what's in it, but it doesn't seem to be any kind of utility of anything. But they don't have any equipment, no backpacks, things like that. No problem. So far we haven't had any hostilities. They're gonna sit there and our characters are gonna hear, "Help us, please help us, please." Now, are they going to help? I would say through the initial shock, we're going to give it I say a 50-50. Possibly. Let's give him a, I would say likely. So it's not 100%, but there's always that likely. Yes, they are. They are definitely going to be likely. Even if I tried doing unlikely, that still would hit. All right, cool. So our band of, our band of brothers are going to actually help. How can we help? The Giles was, how can we help? Can we help you? I don't know if I'm going to go with this, but why not? What do you mean? Of course we're going to help. Of course, our cleric and our elf comes up. Elf was a little. He's got a better charisma than most, so he comes up and he wants to speak with them. How can we help? How can we help you? Yes, I have no idea. I'm not exactly a voice actor, so bear with me. Our companions do see that there is a Mycelian who is trapped. We're going to come inside the room. We're going to help. Now, Thieves gonna stay back towards the door, because just in case. Now, of course, Edmund, he's gonna ask, is anyone hurt? Currently, right now, no one's actually injured. It was just a simple misstep, and the Mycelian had fallen into. They kind of like touched the web, and it just kind of like glommed onto them, and pretty much right there. Now, along the ceiling, you'll notice that there's tendrils of webbing that kind of go into the hull a little bit and then disappear off into the distance. No one knows. But anyway, what's going to happen is we're going to actually try to help the Mycelian. We have, of course, our characters do have rope and poles, and I believe, we got plenty of rope. So we are going to try to get the Mycelian out of that mess, and for that we are going to do a strength check. Yes, breaking free depends on strength. The normal human range can take it. Magical strength above 18. Take about 4 rounds. I'm gonna go ahead and say that it might take 1 turn to get him out. So our fighter and our thief are gonna work their way and heave ho, and that actually initially fails. So I'm gonna check again in a turn. Now, after 2 turns, I'm gonna go ahead and do my wandering monster check, and we do not have anything going on. Roll 2. That's absolutely fantastic. What happens is both Giles and Edwith manage to, with, it's slow but sure, but eventually the Mycelian is able to be extracted from the webbing. All right. Now, are these guys thankful? Hopefully they are. I'd say very likely. They don't appear to be overly generous, all right? But they do give sort of, thank you, we're going now. And then they leave. They just go out through here, and this leaves our group a little, I'm gonna say not dumbfounded, but at least they're okay, all right. And now here's the thing. While they just leave, right? They just go. Now our party is still in the room, and as it turns out, the thief, Adwith, notices something kind of in the webbing, right? Like kind of tucked away. It looks to be possibly some kind of containers. They seem to be large enough to be of some importance. He has no idea. Now here's the problem. Okay, now they have to get to it. Okay, thankfully, web is extremely flammable, and it can be because they're flammable. They, it become dangerous. Now, so what's going to happen is they're going to light this stuff on fire, and it's supposed to take approximately 2 rounds in order for it to actually ignite. So that is what they're going to do. They're going to go out the door, because that's the safest course of action. They're going to toss their torches. I'd say starting from here and work way out there. I'd say that they are now out 4 torches. And I'll double check on how many they have left. I believe they have 1. Plus the fact they actually have an encampment above ground at the entrance of the dungeon. So, or at least this entrance to the dungeon. So that's pretty good. So we'll go around past now, just because I'm going to go ahead and roll my D6 just in case we have any kind of, nope, we have no encounters. Now, that's pretty much how it is. When you randomly determine, like the wandering monsters, you roll a 1 on a 1d6. That's it. And then you check according to the chart, whichever monsters those are. This all goes up in flame. The actual like smoke and whatnot comes out this way a little bit and then goes off into other chambers, and it kind of dissipates on its own. But 2 rounds is like 12 seconds. Think that through for a moment. Oh wait, no, it's 10 seconds. So 20 seconds. I forgot. In old school essentials and just kind of old school RPGs, they have a tendency to, well, at least D&D related. D&D adjacent, it's usually around is 10 seconds, roughly. Now you can manage to do a lot in 10 seconds, but here we are. Okay, so what I'm going to do is, there was some surprises. This is going to, there are going to be 2 fairly large ceramic pots they were kind of just sort of back here. They weren't really in any particular order, but I need to see something real quick, because there was, all right. But they're there. They're porcelain now. They're a little charred, a little blackened. Along the walls that are a little bit lower, of course, there's a fresco of just some kind of ancient scene that may be depicting, think like Egyptian murals almost, or the frescoes in the chambers. So it's just depicting people doing various normal things in kind of stylistic art. But it's old right now. Most of it's flaked off, and you see reminiscences of the dust and dirt and debris. But there is also in this, as the smoke is cleared and these 2 fairly large containers are kind of shown, there's also piles of now charred bones. Well, I mean, not charred, but at least, they've been crisp ever so slightly. Obviously, if there's any fragments of paper or any kind of like paper or fibrous material clothing, that's all gone now. It would have been saturated with the sticky strands of the web anyway. So our thief, of course, is going to inspect. They're all going to kind of, he's going to check it out, while our the elf, he's going to do a little bit of scouting ahead. That seems to be a good idea, at least, because there is a passageway. The Mycelians did go this way. But we'll hold off on that. I'll hold off, because he's going to get about that far, and I'm going to pop open 1 to 50. Is there a surprise? 150 is innocuous. 51 to 100 is not so. Which one does he actually choose? he is going to choose, of course, the innocuous one. We're going to open that one up. In the container, it does have, in this one, it has in it, it looks to be a few thousand, all I see is some silver coins. It's not completely filled up or anything like that, but it's kind of noticeable within, like there's some debris and whatnot, possibly charred remains of food, I have no idea. But in it is, you can definitely tell that there's quite a few silver coins. Alright, seems pretty interesting. Not bad. Now, that also means that we're going to roll here. Now, I need to roll for surprise. Our party is surprised, so this is going to be when Adwith pops open the next container, he is met with a bit of a surprise. And we're going to give this an opportunity to attack. We have 2. There's a 2. Throw it down. Yeah. About 3. Okay. Out pops a very classic monster. Let me pull it up. Yeah. Giant centipedes. Cool. Now, they're only about a foot long, which, I mean, granted, centipedes are only like, here. I think the longest ones are maybe like this, but this is supposed to be about a foot, right? They're still kind of deadly. All right, so all 3 of these little guys are going to have an opportunity to strike at our unfortunate thief. So we're going to roll for that. We have, yes, we have 1. No, and no. So one of them does manage to actually come out, and 2 and 3. We will say that they spread out a little bit. 1 actually comes and attacks, manages to bite Adwith right on the arm, and he has to save versus poison. All right. Hopefully his save versus poison is going to be. Come on, man. Make it. All right, he has to do 13 or better. He makes it like a mother. Nothing like a 20. All right, nat 20. He's not going to catch any ill effects. He manages to snatch it, but he does have to deal with. Okay, yeah, that's it. It's just the poison. Apparently, they do not actually inflict any kind of they don't have it. All it is just poison. Okay, that's it. They're not big enough to actually do any damage, but they are big enough to make poison. So there's no damage whatsoever. He actually manages to snatch it just away enough before any kind of poison hits. So now it's our party's turn. What are they going to do? Obviously, they're going to stomp. So we're going to can only get to this one right here. He's going to scuttle around over here. That's later. He calls these back. They're coming back. All right. Bugs. We got bugs. All right. So we got our movement. He's actually going to move. Yeah, he'll move around over this way to see if he can't begin at least to shoot the one that currently has cover. He may actually close the distance. Who knows? All right. So what do we got? We got 1, 2, 3. So let's see what we got for hit points. Okay, that's not much. All right. We'll go ahead and we'll go at least 1 at a time. Yeah, that's fine. That is. He hits. He misses. And our cleric is going to give it a bash. Misses completely, so we're going to roll for damage. As far as Adwith, he managed to utilize. He does have a sword, so it's a D8. D8 plus 2. 8. Yeah, that's done. 1 squished. Or severed. He severed it into a few pieces, so it's dead. 1 gone. All right. What else? So now we're gonna scurry around. This is just a bug, so it's just gonna, it's under attack. It's gonna try it. This one's gonna come around and try to do the same thing. It's gonna try to bite. him, and what do we got? Oh, yep, of course. Giles gets bit. He does get bit in the leg, and he has to save versus poison, 12 or better. He fails. He is now poisoned. Alright. So it sucks to be. Giles is currently poisoned. That's a bad thing. Poisoned. He's going to be horribly sick. Yeah, no physical activity except half speed. So he's going to feel this for the next 10 days. He is out of the fight as the poison rushes into his bloodstream. And also our cleric, Edmund, he is going to again. He failed his check as well, so he is also poisoned. So both of our boys are poisoned. Kind of interesting that they're gonna be out for about 10 days, and at the end of this, that's the end of the episode. So I guess we can close it out like that. That's fine with me. Okay, so these guys are out for the count. They can actually, they currently cannot fight. They are done for right now. So now we're down to these two. He's going to come in, and he's going to close the distance. He's going to go ahead and whip out his warhammer, because our elf buddy actually carries a warhammer. He is one. Oh, he's got a mace. I'm sorry. He actually utilizes a mace. He does not utilize a sword. I have no idea why. All right. That's the wrong one. Okay. Bad guys. Thief. 12, yes, what did I have to beat? I have to beat. Yes, I do. Adwith sits there and he's gonna slay that little beastie. You hurt my friend. Des Dornell. One segmented, separated, and done. Centipede. All right, and of course, Celadon, he's going to roll it out. Yes, sir. What do we got? I believe it's a D6. D6, yeah, definitely. And he smashes that centipede. So the centipedes are, well, this one's smushed. All right. These guys are going to need help getting back out. And of course, we are going to get back out the way we came, to go up top once again. They've gone through, by now, several rooms. And at this point, they're going to go, these guys are going to, he's going to go up. How much time has actually passed? We'll go ahead and do our little check. Nothing's happened. No wandering monsters. Inside the actual canisters, it turns out there's about 4,000 silver pieces, and amber gem is worth 100 gold pieces, and an opal about the size of a freaking hen's egg, and it's worth 1,000 gold pieces. So they killed the centipedes. They retrieved treasure. Now, of course, they need to evacuate, at least for a time. That's it. Okay, next week we're going to, a 10 days is going to be passed. We're going to come back down. This is no longer going to have the webs, and we're going to go into our next chamber. That's really it. I will try to keep this more or less on a weekly basis. I am going to make sure that I film roughly on the 7th day, which means that in a few days you'll see another one of these, in which they actually go through this part of the complex. I am every single day doing Dungeon23. I am also participating in Hex 23. I have a Hex 23 video on which I go over how to make a hex. You can find that in the on the channel. Anyway, I've been Mr. No One. This has been Monsters and Mazes, and we'll see you next time. Later.